Up, talk about how they're aliens, man.
All right, things are getting real weird right now in the world. I'm sure you've all seen the UFO hysteria. Every couple hours, it seems like a new UFO is being identified and blasted out of the sky. This is a phenomenon that's happening around the world, it seems, and it's leading people to believe that aliens are coming to visit us in droves, like they're all taking a school field trip to planet Earth, and then subsequently getting shot down, which I can't imagine would have been part of their itinerary. Now, this all started with the spy.
Guys, I don't think this is a distraction from USA's Chernobyl in the way that, like, Twitter do your thing, Andes are fucking talking about. I think that the American media just doesn't give a shit about Ohio and will probably not cover it regardless unless there's a lot of fucking talk about it on TikTok. And even then, they probably won't talk about it because they're more interested in covering stories that don't harm the bottom line of a gigantic fucking corporation like Norfolk Southern. I don't like, everyone always loves to go with this is a distraction narrative. Like, yeah, the media all the time is engaging in distraction. That's why you have those idiotic fucking right-wing and left-wing memes about, like, UFOs dangling in front of your face. Ukraine dangling in front of your face. Like, there's truth to that sentiment, but that doesn't make you like a brilliant person. Okay? Yeah, we are distracted people, and we constantly are looking for something that's going to hold our attention. And the unfortunate reality isn't something as like spiffy, where it's not the media getting together in a dark room and being like, what can we do to make sure that people don't talk about the train derailment in Ohio? Like it doesn't work that way. Like, they just don't give a shit, and they will never give a shit, and they will never cover it. Okay? It's not like a shadowy cabal. There's no lizard people. There's no fucking pedophile vampires that are like ripping through time and space to go in and you know, tell Rupert Murdoch, like, definitely don't talk about this story. No. Ultimately, the UFO thing is fascinating. I think that's part of the reason why they're talking about it. I think the other reason why, a chatter correctly pointed it out, by the way. If you want to understand, like, collusion in the media or media narratives, just read Manufacturing Consent, and you will get it. You will understand why the media is an arm of the capitalist propaganda machine. And is polluted by those who will do the bidding of capital owners, and how it's like somewhat self-selecting, or at least, like, you know, there's a process of elimination at the tippy top, all the way to the tippy top, that, like, you know, people just get axed out when they actually want to do coverage and reporting that is contentious and undermines the hierarchical powers. I do think that, like, yes, you mentioned last year during the UFO story that it was just an excuse to increase military funding. Yes, my opinion is that, like, a lot of the UFO fascination, a lot of UFO stories, and the new classification for UFOs, UAPs, came right after the Star Force. You know what I mean? So that's another part. That's another arm of the Defense Department that is going to need a lot of money. And in order to, or not Star Force, Space Force, fuck me. So that is going to need a lot more, that's going to need money. I said Star Force. Star Forge is on my mind. You know, which is what the equipment I'm using to stream on is Star Forge. So that's part of it, I think. I think that, like, they are beefing up. They're acting like there is a balloon gap that needs all of our resources to be spent on this. You know, all this shit plays a role. All this shit basically plays a role in, like, scaring Americans, so they turn the other cheek and or turn a blind eye to, like, the unfettered, uncontrolled military spending. You know?
Balloon that the U.S. shot down. Basically, this balloon the size of a few school buses was identified and then executed. There's this giant balloon that looked like the house from Up, but instead of a house, it was just a...
Even if this guy will tell 2 + 2 = 4, his face will make me not believe in him. What, this guy Charlie? Why?
Surveillance device, which they said came from China, and from what I've read, China did take ownership of it, but called it an overreaction to shoot it down, which gave me a bit of a giggle because I just love that image of like, hey, whoa, guys. Hey, cool the jets a little bit here. Calm down, you know? No need to get so rambunctious and shoot it down, which is just a...
No, the real funny part about that after was they were like, yeah, it's just a commercial balloon. And then they were like, but we want it back. That's our property. Can you give it back to us, please, now that you shot it? I think that's the funniest fucking part about it is like, I don't know, the audacity to just be like, can you give us back? Like, that's some America shit right there. I feel like America would do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a, you know, big dick boss man moves to just be like, yeah, we were spying on you guys. Can you give it back to us though, please? Which, yeah, it just, you know, doesn't hurt to ask. Maybe John Kirby was gonna be like, yeah, actually, sorry, my bad. Here you go. Oh. Well, I wasn't that far off. There's always a story. That's crazy, man. That's actually, oh my God. I don't even remember this, okay? It's from fucking 2011. So even I didn't know about this. I said, click away is Black History Month. Anyway, I mean, this is pretty funny. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, China just doing, this is like when Xi Jinping was like, for those of you who don't remember, I'm not a big Xi Jinping defender when it comes to the treatment of Uyghurs, okay, in Xinjiang. Why? Because Xi Jinping has personally, openly stated that, like, yeah, they're combating Muslim extremist separatists in Xinjiang with techniques that they learned from the American government in an effort to justify what they were doing, the mass surveillance and incarceration. So, like, this is another moment where, like, you know, Xi Jinping and the Chinese government is basically like, oh, yeah, well, you're doing it to us, so we're going to do it to you, too. Now, of course, that's like domestic policy, and that is less justifiable, in my opinion, than, like, what China is doing to us. Okay? If China is spying on us with weather balloons or whatever the fuck, and we're doing the same back to them, then, like, that's way, way more acceptable. It's like, yeah, you can do an America on America. Well, don't go too far. Don't do full America shit, which would imply, you know, murder, destruction, death, you know, mass incarceration, stuff like that. Don't go full America. Please don't tell me you think it's a spy balloon. Do I think this is a spy balloon? The balloon that they shot down? It could be, but I know for a fact that it doesn't matter if it's a spy balloon or not, because ultimately I'm working off what the Pentagon said. And what the Pentagon said was that they have no new surveillance capabilities in this balloon, and therefore you should not worry about it. But also it's a Chinese spy balloon, and you should be worried about it. So, you know, it literally doesn't matter, because if it did matter, they would have shot it, okay? They would have shot it before it entered the U.S. airspace. Yeah. Anyway. They did in the press conference say it had additional spying capabilities. Yeah, originally they said it was nothing that they could not have through other conventional capabilities, and I still believe that. As a big China fan, it's definitely a spy balloon, but I don't know why they sent it. Yeah, I don't really understand why they sent a fucking spy balloon that is like 3 school buses large that was like clearly visible. Maybe they're just like fucking around. Maybe it went off course. Yeah, Weeby said is a big China fan. Yeah. But we are reacting to the spy balloon thing in a matter that is consistent with like American mania. What we did in the aftermath of 9/11 is significantly more damaging to America than 9/11 was, right? That's just objectively correct. Like $6 trillion to $8 trillion spent on warfare, bloodshed, doing an insane amount of collective punishment on the people that did not deserve it, but also simultaneously, redirecting our resources to that pool and thousands of fucking American people losing their family members, losing their lives in the process, hundreds of thousands of fucking veterans that are homeless on the streets, not utilizing any of those resources on any of the social amenities that are afforded to other people in European social democracies, all this shit, right? Like deregulation, dismantling the federal government, all the stuff had a legitimate negative impact on America as well, right? On Americans as well. So that's why I always say like Osama bin Laden is the most successful terrorist, not because he did 9/11 and pulled it off or whatever, but because of what happened after 9/11, which was severely more damaging and more consequential to the rest of the world, but also to the United States as well. Because the real terrorists, and I'm not alone in this, this is, shouts out to Noam Chomsky, but the real terrorists are, American government officials themselves. It's like the Republican Party especially, and the Democratic Party following closely behind. Like the real terrorists are the Republican Party in this country, right? You could not, like Osama bin Laden, in a million years, could not imagine the death and destruction that the Republican Party has been capable of delivering to American citizens. You know what I mean? You took out 3,000 motherfuckers, okay? That's it. That's all you get. You took out 3,000 innocent American citizens. Maybe you add to the tally the first responders, that die from cancer, okay? But the Republican Party is just like, you know what I mean? Just deregulation. Look at fucking Ohio. Not even just the Republican Party. Look at Ohio. Look at what happened in East Palestine, Ohio. That's literally just like that predates Osama bin Laden, that deregulation. Okay? It's at the heart of our understanding of how the government's supposed to be running. And you still have millions of Americans that advocate for said deregulation because they love Ronald Reagan. You know what I mean? The consequences of that are unimaginable. It's so much worse than just, so much worse than just like one fucking little 9/11 that Osama bin Laden was able to do. Yeah, Al-Qaeda should have just played the long game and just sat back, basically, and gotten more Republicans elected. So, anyway, I mean, it's true. Get mad at me all you want. So, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, all this stuff is just bullshit. Metallic balloons and the like. We are doing worse things to ourselves as a consequence of this panic that has been drummed up by the media about like UFOs or whatever, or originally by the Chinese government's spycraft.
Silly thought, but this kind of opened the floodgates to UFOs, like inviting this unknown menace in, because now UFOs are being sighted every day, every couple of hours really, across the world. A few hours ago, China said that it was preparing to shoot down an unidentified flying object, so they're all over the place. It's a very interesting situation, and this is even more weird considering I just posted a video going over aliens and how I don't believe they've ever visited Earth, and now 2 days later, we've got UFOs out the wazoo here. Maybe the madman I was arguing with on Twitch was right about warp drives, and they're fucking firing on turbo mode with their warp drive technology to visit us here. I'll go ahead and give my perspective now.
It's like, what do they see in the fucking sights? Like, I know Montana is a beautiful state and all, but like, I just don't think an alien is coming to Montana, okay? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You would go to a place where like there's a lot of organic activity, and that's like population density, energy, like a lot of lights, a lot of electricity. You wouldn't go to fucking Montana. No aliens like, oh man, I really love the fucking mountains, you know?
Still am not convinced it's aliens, because if it was, we stand 0% chance of actually shooting them down. Our technology wouldn't even begin to make them, like, consider us a threat. We are so laughably low on the technological food chain of a species that can visit our planet, because they would have cracked things that are beyond our comprehension. There's no way they'd somehow fall victim to our weaponry. But zoinks, Scoob, I'll tell ya, I couldn't be happier to...
Yeah, I mean, all of this is true. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to fucking shake everyone's, like, suspicions or you know, well wishes or whatever, but, like, yeah, no, man, no. Any fucking species capable of like flying through space like that is, one, not going to be a humanoid, very likely. Okay, so just get that out of your fucking mind. Maybe even incomprehensible to our, you know, pathetic human brains. And two, they're not thinking about us any more than you think about an ant that you accidentally step on. Okay.
To be proven wrong. I would love if this truly was extraterrestrial tourists just coming by to visit, though I'm sure they wouldn't be happy about us destroying their, like, balloon travel devices, but god damn it, that would be amazing. I also love the idea that it actually is alien visitors, and the way that they get here is through, like, hot air balloon through space. Like, the most inefficient means of travel imaginable, but somehow that's the one that they've chosen. But regardless, I would love if it was aliens. I also love the discussion around aliens right now. You'll have people giving all kinds of, like, evidence, once again, of, like, abductions and shit. I fell asleep one day while...
Yeah, you know, what's also interesting about it is that, like, all the alien sightings just... Aliens are just always avoiding fucking Africa, the continent, okay? Like, if you look at alien sightings, like, reported alien sightings internationally, they just love going to America and to, like, areas where you have lead poisoning and you know, carbon monoxide poisoning. It's just they never go. They always go to fucking Iowa. Like, you think Iowa, if you're gonna say like, oh well, it's a good place to set up a forward operating base, bitch. If Iowa is a good place to set up a forward operating base, what about Zimbabwe, motherfucker? You think like they couldn't fucking make it out? They can make space travel happen, but they can't make it out in the Gobi Desert? Like, you know what I mean? They're in space, dog. If they wanted to go to like an area where no human inhabits, they could find an area. They could go underwater, and you wouldn't even fucking hear about it. There's intelligent life in Zimbabwe. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are areas that are less developed where you can, like, very actively and easily avoid any kind of human interaction. If you want to fucking you're so wrong, it feels like sarcasm. Scientists study ants every day, though, not the school in Africa, the 62 African children. You're so wrong, it feels like sarcasm. Wait. Zimbabwe is a bad idea because, like, there was one. There was a school sighting in 1994. But if you look at the map of reported UFO sightings all around the world, you know, it's overwhelmingly. It's just aliens are fascinated, dude. They're just fascinated with America for some reason. United States of America. Oh. Maybe they just like Hogwatch just as much as I do. You know what I mean? Aliens map of the United States. Yeah. Yeah, they think the rest of it is just, land that is uninhabited. I think that's a bias and reported, brother. I know what you mean, and you aren't wrong. But like, you have to remember, you're saying that to defend the validity of like alien sightings happening globally. You know? Like, so the side that you're taking on this argument, albeit I do understand, okay? Because like, you're right, the reporting bias, it's like hard to extract that kind of data globally. But you're saying that to defend the integrity of like the actual alien sightings being real. Okay, but legit folks have disclosed a lot. There are so many testimonies from ex-military and Air Force. I don't know, worth an actual look. Oh, I have looked into it, especially with the UAP stuff. I remember, dude. I know. There was a naval training incident where and all of a sudden, like, they just saw on the radar, or they saw in their sights this tic tac, bro. I promise, bro. It's a tic tac, bro. It's a flying tic tac. So much evidence, bro. My only fucking take on the matter is, while I do believe that aliens definitely, like, or some kind of like life form that you could consider to be a life form, like a living, breathing organism, does exist, it's probably not comprehensible with our feeble minds, okay? In the way that we understand dimensions and time and space and light, okay? Especially if they're capable of coming to planet Earth. Does that make sense? Copying Moist Critical's take? No, that's just you're describing the Fermi what is it? The Fermi, what is it? Fermi paradox. And like numerous other like logical conclusions about space travel and aliens. List of investigations of UFOs by governments. Yeah. Seems like we got the most. It's an example of human hubris to believe that humans are the only intelligent life forms to exist, considering the universe is so large. We don't know how big it is. No, I know, which is why I'm saying that we're not the only life forms. But it's also an example of human hubris to believe that like aliens would somehow be fascinated with us, would consider us as anything but like an atom, okay? And would also study us, fascinated. And also on top of that, not accidentally delete us. And also on top of that, would be like humanoid too in their shape. Everything we know about the human body dictates that we are unfortunately not capable of space travel, okay? And I don't just mean that like we as organisms are incapable of living out in the open space. I mean like space travel takes so much fucking time that the human body perishes, okay? Like we are not capable as organisms to travel in the speed of light or faster than the speed of light. And that would allow us to like go to a different galaxy. It's fair to reason a sentient species would be interested in another sentient species. Yeah, but it's like that. Um, it's like that fucking space bacteria. You know what I'm talking about? That kind of looks like a possum or something. Wasn't there like a space bacteria that was found? What is it? The tardigrade, whatever. What is it? Tardigrade? Water bears or moss piglets. They've been found in Earth's biosphere, mountaintops, deep sea, tropical rainforests, and the Antarctic. Earliest known are the whatever. Tardigrades are usually about 0.5 millimeters long when fully grown. They're short and plump. Aren't these the ones that are like in the space? Three unknown species have been discovered growing on the ISS, but don't break out the anti-back wipes just yet. Oh my God, new strains of bacteria found on the ISS? Shut the fuck up, dude. And they grow on food? Oh, Jesus Christ. I apologize for the Sam Harris take, but his analogy of how we treat ants is really good. I mean, it's not his analogy. I say it too. We don't hate or love ants particularly. We might even go out of our way to avoid hurting them if we walk down the sidewalk. But if we want to construct a building, we won't blink as we annihilate their entire world. Exactly. You don't even, it's like an afterthought. You kill ants and other kinds of bugs as an afterthought without even like thinking about it. And that's not a Sam Harris thing. It's just a very common trope. But that's the point. Anyway. Oh, tardigrades can survive in space longer than other forms of organic matter. Okay. Aren't you fascinated by ants? I feel like if there are aliens, they feel the same about humans. Yes. If aliens are to find life forms, yes, they would probably want to study it, okay? They would. They would most likely be fascinated. Like if we found aliens, we would be fascinated. We want to study them, right? I understand that. Like especially a group of people that get duped at the top of every hour, you know? That don't realize that the top of the hour ad break is upon them, that then have to be told again that in order to avoid the top of the hour ad break that they need to subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting their Amazon Prime account to their Twitch account to get one free Prime subscription a month, or by getting gifted a sub if they're lucky. You know, these are fascinating things that are happening to human beings all around us every day. Anyway. Intelligent life will always seek intelligence. Yes, but intelligent life is also particularly brutal. So I hope you understand that as well. I mean, look no further than the way humans treat other humans. Like, I serve you a top of the hour ad break. That is brutal as fuck. You know? They could study us without us even knowing. People are not understanding the tech gap between humans and a species that could travel space. Thank you. That's my point. That's literally what I'm saying. Like, that tech gap is unimaginable. And not only that tech gap, but also, like, they would probably not even be, like, living, breathing organisms in the way that we understand living, breathing organisms, okay? Like, the best thing you can point to is like a fucking bacteria, when in fact it wouldn't even be that. It would be like not colors, okay? It wouldn't have colors. It wouldn't abide by, there's no promise that it would abide by fucking the same kind of like it would react to space and time in the way that you understand it. And that's something that a lot of human beings can't comprehend. We are understandably limited by our own imaginations. You were talking about dimensions and other nonsense? Yeah, okay. That's nonsense. The fuck told you that? Xenobiology is limited to physical principles, HasanAbi? Hassan's been hitting the Benjamin. You are just describing God? No, I'm not describing God. I'm describing something that us, with our fucking peasant brains as human beings, would consider to be God. I don't think that's that far-fetched. Imagine aliens gave us alien pox blankets. Oh my God. Shadows will shit on you for multiple dimensions when human beings literally can only see a small sliver of light, much less other dimensions. You can't even see infrared, motherfuckers. Yeah. Guys, one thing I will say about like space travel and alien exploration and our understanding of aliens being so fucking limited to human imagination is that 90% of the fucking bottom of the ocean has not been tracked yet. And we don't even know what kind of beings live down there, okay? Like, there are things that live on this fucking planet right now every single day that's far away from you, but still very much a part of this planet that we completely do not understand. So the idea that like we know what the fuck aliens are doing, or the ability to fucking comprehend that, is just the ability to see infrared or not, gravity and the laws of physics still apply. Okay. But what if it doesn't? Because like if something is capable of space travel in the way that like human beings have imagined space travel, then they are going to be capable of like violating some of these laws. Unless they just like know how to live forever, and time as a concept has become relative and something that they don't even understand in the same way that human beings understand it. Because like they live such long lifespans. Hi, physicists here. We cannot observe higher dimensions. If life were to evolve in a higher dimension, they could be observing us right now. Yeah, I don't understand. It wouldn't be a violation of physics laws. It would just be even more understanding and application of it. Yeah. Guys, whenever I tell you we can't prove mathematically how planes stay up in flight, people break their minds. They're like, what? No, that's not true. Like, we literally have still to this day not unlocked the mathematical formula that proves how fucking planes fly. Because that isn't true. Okay. Every time people get mad at this. We know how you can fucking throw something in the air. We know how jet propulsion works, okay? We know how floating in space, or we know how floating in the sky works. We just can't technically prove it. Everyone always gets mad when I bring this up. It blew my fucking mind when I found out too, okay? Trust me. Stupid, right? I know. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Get your brother to say this and I'll believe it. Okay, here. We're bringing up the same fucking thing again. No one can explain why planes stay in the air. On a strictly mathematical level, engineers know how to design planes that will stay aloft, but equations don't explain why aerodynamic lift occurs. There are two competing theories that illuminate the forces and factors of lift. Both are incomplete explanations. Aerodynamicists have recently tried to close the gaps in understanding. Still, no consensus exists. Suck my dick, random Twitch chatters who are like, this is exactly like when that one guy fucking who was like a experienced diving instructor died in one of the most famous like depths, and Twitch chatters were like, I'm built different, dog. That guy was wrong and stupid for fucking I'm you don't understand, like I'm built different, dude. It's like I can explain it. You're fucking stupid. I use my words very carefully. I'm telling you, like, the article's explanation is flawed. My father was an aerospace engineer for Northrop, and they said the article is misleading. Well, the irony of this is that I didn't learn this from this one fucking article. I learned it from my brother, who is an aerospace engineer at Boeing. I mean, I know. It's like the same with gravity. It's the same with gravity, technically. They said one of the most dangerous dives in contemporary history was easy. Yeah. We just know certain things, we just know work, okay? We've observed it throughout time, and we understand it, and we know it works, but we can't really mathematically explain it. Like there's no way to prove it. And there are theories. What Anderson said, however, is that there's actually no agreement on what generates the aerodynamic force known as lift. There's no simple one-liner answer to this, we told the Times. People give different answers to the question, some with religious fervor. More than 15 years after that pronouncement, there are still different accounts of what generates lift, each with its own substantial rank of zealous defenders, like that chatter's dad, who worked at Northrop Grumman. Aerospace engineer here, there are more than just two theories, more like 14. All are incomplete, mathematically speaking. We can't describe turbulent flow. The differential equations become too complex even for our best computers. I think we can all agree we're just dumb meat sacks floating in a big rock that we don't understand. Yes, that's my point. The reason why I brought this up is because like there are so many mysteries that we often don't even think about. Because if we did all the time, we would go crazy. It's like I always liken it to noise, right? Technically, your ear is capable of hearing a lot more noise than you actually process when you're living your day-to-day existence. If you were to hear all the noise that your ears are capable of hearing all the fucking time, you'd go crazy. You wouldn't be able to focus on anything. So we just kind of make do without understanding. Without trying to develop a deeper understanding of certain things, which is precisely why there are, so many other things that we could unlock. So I always laugh whenever people are like, no, aliens would not be in a fucking different dimension, or aliens would be like humanoid. It's just hubris. You right now?
How come we're still not any closer to working out how aeroplanes actually work?
But we are. We know how they work today.
But in reality, how do they work?
Well, we have mathematical equations that describe the way the air flows over the wings of the aircraft.
Can you explain how they work without resorting to science?
No, that's not what I'm doing. That's bullshit.
It's difficult not to explain the science behind it, but because of the shape of its wings, the force upwards is bigger than the force downwards, so that pushes the plane up into the air.
That's your theory. Do you want to hear my theory?
Okay.
I think they run on belief. It's just because we're...
Okay, dude. That noise metaphor is exactly right. I'm autistic and have audio processing issues because I can't shut out all the sounds around me and focus on just one. Like, literally you. Yeah, I know. It's me. It's me for real, dude. You're right. Oh. Some can't be explained. We just know how they work. Exactly, dude. Exactly. One of the main mysteries of the world. How does the Nintendo cartridge magically work when blown into? Nobody knows. People say dust particles get, unsettled. I don't believe you. The article means that we still don't have a strong math enough to predict fluid mechanics as accurately. Not that we don't know how lift is a thing and it's caused by air. We absolutely know how planes fly, but if we try to model it with our differential equations, it would get out of hand, impossible to calculate. Okay? Yeah, that's why I said it is impossible to mathematically prove, as it stands, how lift works. That's what I said originally. And chat literally just turned around and said, no, you're wrong. You said the same shit. It's not impossible. Don't have the math to prove it yet. Okay, well, as it stands, we don't know. That's what I'm saying. I can't tell if Chad's like purposely being uncharitable or maybe I'm doing a bad job explaining it. But of course, Chad's going to literally say, you're